Hello, everybody. Welcome to Untapped, episode number 16. Whoa. We got Levi, Kelly. Oh, what happened to the shades?
No, I took them. It's too dark.
Ah, man. Man, well, we made it through 16. Let's go. Super celebration here. We got we have a Taya here in the house. We got Mr. Dana. How you doing this week, Dana?
I'm here.
Yeah.
He made it.
And we also have a secret guest that will not be on camera because his job is so it's such a secretive, like, high level job. We're not gonna even, but we may refer to him off camera and we might like disguise his voice a little bit, but he's in the house too right now. So, yeah. Yeah. So what's been going on?
Spring training's full go now. Pitch every third day. So in the routine of that now, just getting ready for every third day. It's a little different than like jiu-jitsu, whatever, because it's now you're competing every third day rather than like, oh, you have 10 weeks until a tournament. You're trying to get ready for one day.
It's not like
this is like a quick turnover.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday routine. Like
right. It's like, hey, I have to be in game like in 2 more days.
Yeah.
Man, and you're doing one heavy day, one medium day, and one light day.
So like I'll pitch and then I'll lift that day. So that'll be my heavy day. The following day I'll do like a mobility/stability workout with maybe some steady state cardio, like 15 to 20 minutes of cardio. Nothing too crazy though. And then today for me, which would be the day before I pitch, is like super light throwing and stuff, and then I'll do like a couple sprints and some jumps and stuff to kind of spark the system, and then I'll just chill tonight.
Nice.
Contrast like before bed, and then go at it again tomorrow.
Do they have everybody on like a pitch count and stuff? Is that being tracked?
Yeah, it's 20. Tomorrow will be 25 for me. Last time I threw was 20. Time before that was 15. So it's kind of going.
How many guys are typically throwing in a game right now?
Guys are going like mostly one inning, so 9
Okay.
guys. Starters, I think today went 2.
Down.
But they've been having me start the last 2 weeks. So I don't know if they'll build. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to build me up to start or if they're just going to keep me at 1 inning. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
We're just testing you. We were talking earlier that Greg Maddox, he was a older pitcher. I don't know if you heard
Yeah.
He won some Cy Youngs
He's my
and stuff
favorite
like
ever.
that. Hey, let's go. Yeah, Chicago. He was throwing like 100, 110 pitches a game. That's right. Isn't that right? 110 or so a game. Why is that now that they're throwing less? The pitch count is lower.
I think there's probably two answers. One answer is that medical runs the team for the most part. Like medical is in charge. I would say medical is in charge of 70 to 80% of the organization.
Wow.
So they're obviously going to be safer. And all these studies that have came out have showed X, Y, and Z and whatever they believe. They typically go down that rabbit hole. And then on the flip side, analytics has shown like, hey, we need to get this guy in this situation. Like maybe riding the starter longer and trying to push him deeper in the game analytically isn't like the smartest thing to do.
I see.
So because there's so much data and stuff out now, they've seen that, okay, in this situation, there's a better guy for that role. Back in the day, I think it was almost the starters would be like, fuck, this is my game. I'm going 9.
Right.
Like that was the mindset. Now it's like,
There was a couple like team no-hitters this past season.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not, like
now
single
it's,
guys.
Crazy.
Yeah. Because medical, and 2, I don't know. I would say most of it's medical. They don't want pitch counts and stuff like that running up.
Yeah.
Especially early in the year. If it's September, October, postseason, and games matter more, it's a little bit different. But especially like right now, or from now until the All-Star break, guys aren't going to be going complete for the, because there's just games don't matter as much.
So do you like that, or is it just like, do we know too much now? We're analyzing too much?
I don't know. I think it just depends on. if I was starting, I would want it to be kind of my game.
Right.
But then also at some point, it's like you're 7 innings and you're 100 and whatever pitches. Like, me fatigued? Am I better than a fresh guy? I don't know. It would depend on like the situation.
That's true. Yeah.
So if you take the ego out of it, then it's probably like a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
I think some of it could be because the science behind function and strength and everything, the arm is being pushed to levels that hasn't been pushed before.
True.
So when you're throwing more often, it's the body's just not able to handle that output.
Yeah, and I think that the way we train is a little bit. One, we don't have steroids. Like back in the day, they were
good call
on steroids.
Yeah,
and
or methamphetamines I hear too.
Guys are taking like pain. Like it was crazy. It was like the wild, wild west. Like you could get by with almost anything. So
guys still dipping?
They're not sore because they're taking pain pills before the game.
That makes sense.
Like, of course I can go out there and do whatever,
That's what that makes sense now. I didn't understand. I knew Roger Clemens. I just figured, the steroids are making him just a little bit stronger when he throws and stuff like that. I didn't realize until learning more about pitching through you is how much that soreness and that recovery is a factor.
Right.
That's
For me,
crazy.
I turn over pretty quick, but I think that's because of like diet, like everything I do recovery wise. But if you're not dialed in those areas, then it's much harder to be like, okay, I pitched tonight. Now I got to be ready to go tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And ready to go the next night. So what do you do
It's crazy.
in the next 18 hours to get ready? Some guys don't do anything. Some guys do a lot. Some guys maybe do too much.
Do you see Sean when he posts his sleep score and stuff?
Yeah.
Do you think it's like valuable for like your mental game to know that versus like you who's like, I'm waking up, I know I feel great, but would it be something extra to look at that, those stats and be like, oh no, I know I feel great because this says this.
Well, on the flip side, you get a bad score. Now you have to pitch.
Right.
Like, is that in your head? Because especially in the season, we finish at midnight. And if you eat at midnight or 11, your sleep score is going to be jacked up.
For sure.
But if you don't eat over the course of 162 games, now so it's just like, what do you value? For me, like there's certain meals where it's like, no, I'm just going to fast. But that's like in a certain situation. For the most part, you got to eat because, you don't want to be coming like June, July. Now you've lost 20, 30 pounds and expect to perform at the same level. It's just not going to happen.
What about you, Kyle? Do you look at your Whoop in the morning?
I look at it too much, I think.
Okay.
When you said that. Yeah, I think still though, when I do get numbers that are off and I pay attention to my body and I'm tracking things every day, I keep shorthand notes and then I do a little bit longer journaling and then I kind of refer to it. And I came up with like just a whole shorthand system and numerical tracking and looking at my sleep score and all that. And there's some days where it's off, but overall it's been pretty accurate. Sometimes it's weird because I don't know if this happens to you, Levi, when you've used that, is that I'll wake up and I just feel trash, and then my score was pretty good. And then as the day goes on, my body is able to handle more training or whatever. So sometimes I was talking to Jakar about that too, and he was kind of advised. I think the UFC told him not to rely too much on it because what you're saying about it getting in your head or whatever. But I do find it a useful tool. I think it's definitely worth using for a while and then maybe coming off of it. So at least you have an idea, or like I definitely noticed that there's things that I do that it never fails that my sleep score is improved. If I cold plunge like an hour and a half before I go to bed, and it doesn't even need to be a super long one, but if I hit that cold plunge and I do breath work, the eating, of course, kind of depends. Sometimes it's like what you were saying, it's what I ate. Sometimes I can get away with eating a little bit before I go to bed, before that. And then if I'm, the other hard part too is that we'll train jiu-jitsu sometimes later at night. So if I get that heart rate through the roof up until 7:30 at night, and then you're trying to go to bed at 10, well, that's gonna mess with it too. But
right, yeah. God, I forget what I was gonna say. Oh, I think that the Whoop does. Okay, this is what I was gonna say. Not that. So when you wake up, you get the score or whatever, but that can change. Like you can do certain, let's say your HRV is low. So you wake up and your HRV is 30, which depending on who you are, for me, that's like pretty low. But that doesn't mean it's going to be 30 when you pitch in 6 hours. Like you can do certain things to change your HRV throughout the day that now, okay, you're pitching and your HRV is 110, where when you woke up, it was this. So I think guys look at that and like, okay, to me, if I was going to wear it nonstop, I would look at it and be like, okay, I recovered red. Like I need to do X, Y, and Z because I play at 7:00 tonight. And I know that like I'm not in a great spot right now. Where some guys just think like, oh, okay, I got red, whatever. Like today, I'm just gonna grind through it and try to get through today. I don't think that's the right way to go.
That's a good point. That's a helpful tool, I think, because if you do get a trash score, you know that you got solutions. You can kind of work your way out of
the
that.
ice is a quick HRV spike.
Man, beautiful, yeah,
and
breathwork too, right? If you and sometimes you just got to really lean into that breathwork. It can't just be a little touch of it or whatever. You got to go in, spend a good half an hour to an hour on it. I learned. It's funny because you've gotten HRV up near 200, right? Have you gotten above 200?
I think there was one point, this was like 3 years ago at Diesel. I was like, I did a juice cleanse. And then for the next month, my HRV was like 150 plus. Crazy. For the next month. And I was green like every single day. And then it kind of just trickled off. But
I noticed fasting always gets my HRV.
That was the first time I had done any fasting or anything like that. So that was like the very first time my body's ever felt anything remote to like a fast or something like that. So I think it was just like, whoa, what the is going on? And it just sparked me. Like I had a good, like for the next month, I was sleeping pretty good.
What are you using something now, Dana, for tracking?
No. No. I pay really close attention to how my sleep is. Like noticing when I wake up from a dream state, how much more groggy I am during the day than when I wake up out of a dream state.
Interesting. So,
it's stuff like that. I mean, the fasting though, I pay attention to a lot. If I know I'm going to have a more creative day, say at work where I have to do product photos and all that kind of stuff, I'll usually fast because my creativity is like, if I have food in my stomach, I can't.
I feel you.
Like first thing in the morning, it's hard. Like my brain 100%. Fires when I'm fasting. Music too. So like tomorrow morning, when I'm doing like audio engineering stuff, I'm fasted pretty much every time.
I've been fasting until about 1, the days that I don't pitch, just kind of getting ready for the season because I think that your stomach needs a break.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna eat at midnight during the season or 11 o'clock. Then I should take that break on the front end of it. Nice. So now I'll eat from 2 until 11 rather than 8 a.m. until 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Just to still give my body the same break. It's just at a different time period.
Other thing I noticed is when the immune system's so weird because when my stats, sometimes if I'm fighting, I know my body, after the surgery, for example, the second day when you hit that tough thing, usually the second day after surgery. I was talking to Taya about that a minute ago, and she brought it up. It's kind of like the delayed onset muscle soreness. Like you do a bunch of squats, and then 2 days later you're sorer than that first day. Well, surgery seems to do that too. The second day, I've had a lot of surgeries. It kind of dip, and then kind of start to recover the third day. But it's really weird. My body was fighting a lot yesterday, but when I woke up, my HRV score was pretty high. 30 is high for me. When I get a 30, I celebrate. I'm like, all right. But I notice, or if my body's really fighting a virus or something like that, then my HRV score will be higher. And then likewise, this last night, it tipped me off to go into the ER because the sleep, my respiratory rate was super high. It was like into the 19s. And then the body temperature, it measures my body temperature, was at 4 degrees. So I think those are kind of useful tools if you're, I mean, you use it an athlete, you use it if you're just trying to optimize your health or if you're sick or whatever.
Right.
I think there's tools more cancer patients need to be using.
I think because sometimes the ring or whatever you're using will catch it early. Like you don't feel the
Right.
symptoms yet.
Yeah,
But
I
you wake
noticed
up and
that.
your respiratory rate is up, or so now you can start to do X, Y, and Z because you're like, I mean, I feel fine, but it feel like the ring says something's coming, so I need to get on this or whatever to try and clean that up.
Yeah.
The flip side for me is that like when I'm working out more, I can notice those things earlier. Because it's like if I'm working out 4 or 5 times a week, and then one of the days I feel slightly off, even just a little bit, I'm like, okay, I might be getting sick, dial in this, that, or the other thing.
You're more in tune. If you're training, you're more in tune with your body.
Way more.
Yeah. I try to freaking tell the Diamondback trainers that they don't understand it. Like they sometimes they get on me because I'm out doing all this shit and I'm like filling around or whatever. And to me, I'm like, this is what I like to do. This is cool, whatever. I'm like feeling my body. This is only going to help me. But to them, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? They don't understand it. But I'm like, this is going to tell me how to like prevent something coming rather than I don't do anything and now it hits me and now I'm so fucked up that like now we got to go get an MRI or something because I didn't see it coming. I don't know. It just sports philosophy is a little bit different because I think they're trying to coach or teach like the general population.
Yeah.
Or not the general, but like the general group of athletes.
I think there's a lot of cookie cutter stuff going on.
Yeah, and it almost has to be that way because if not, then you're kind of just reaching for stuff in every direction. You kind of have to, okay, if we're going to be this way, then this is what we're going to, if this is what we believe in, then this is what we got to believe in. We can't be all over the place and now we don't know anything. So I get it a little bit, but it's just like, I don't know, after time after time after time after time, you see the same thing. It's like, okay, we got to adjust we got to adjust somewhere.
Right.
Or at least know the player enough to be like, okay, this guy seems to be more in tune with his body. Maybe we'll listen to him a little bit when he's talking about his body. And maybe the guy that doesn't do anything, okay, now we need to kind of hold his hand. So I think it's just...
You're right. There's so many correlations I always get with athlete, being an athlete and then being a cancer patient, because it's kind of the same thing with a lot of the staff, with the doctors and things like that. It's so much more productive, in my opinion, that you connect with that. You get to know and know that guy. Here's I can kind of manage my own stuff. We hit this thing recently where I was asked. I found over time, I've been doing this a long time, if I get pain from tumors or whatever, codeine is my drug that I like to, that's my drug of choice. But over time it was for a stretch oxys. They just want to, here, take some oxys. Here, I got a whole, cabinet full of oxys and wondering, wow, that one didn't work as well for me. I monitor when I get in pain, I look at my resting heart rate and see where it is. And if it's 15 to 20 beats per minute up, I know, hey, my body's under too much stress now. I'm not going to heal as well unless I find a way to lower that resting heart rate. It's time for medicine. Thank God for medicine. So what's going to get it down? They throw oxys. Well, that kind of cut the pain down, but it didn't lower my heart rate. So then I'd have to pop something on it like an Ativan to calm me down or whatever. But over time, just for my body and the way I was, codeine seemed to kind of get that crazy tumor pain and can't sleep and neuropathy and things are going on. So I take codeine and kind of relax me. But for some reason, and I don't understand why, doctors are not all doctors. There's some that are great. They build up a relationship with me and they understand. They're like, hey, I know this guy. I'm going to, I know how he works. I'm going to work together with him as a team, and I'm going to lead when I need to lead, and that sort of stuff. But lately, they've been really pushing tramadol for some reason, and that one, I feel like it doesn't quite get it as well. But I was just told one of the reasons is because it's not as supposed to be as addictive as some of these other ones, hydrocodone and the oxys to come off of. But if it's not working as well, then it's not really achieving its purpose of medicine.
Right.
And then you get into these things. Why are they pushing that one? Why aren't they listening to the patients more and kind of getting that feedback? And it's a real frustration when you're trying to build a career and you're trying to build your health, but you have kind of something that's almost an obstacle. So then it becomes a challenge. How can, they got the book, The Obstacle is the Way. How can I use this to push myself forward? And now I'm kind of trailing off into a strange ramble, but that's just.
I think like in my situation, part of the problem, I have to take blame for like a lot of it, because I was always like kind of just like, okay, you don't think that, then I'm just going to go this way.
Yeah.
Where instead of like confronting it and communicating it.
There you go.
So it was with the whole injury and stuff, it was like probably mostly my fault. There was a butt of heads, but part of it was the problem was that instead of just having the hard conversation of like, okay, here's what it is, and I'm not budging, this is what I think, we just never sat down and like had the talk. So it was like, they thought this, I thought that, and we were both wrong. We were both guessing in the wrong.
Good word. Yeah.
But I think with professionals, especially like medical professionals, it's hard to like question what because like, oh, you're not X, Y, and Z, like you don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the trainers are, oh, you're not, you didn't do athletic training or whatever. You're not a PT or you're not this. I'm like, I know, but I've been throwing for a while, It's
hard. It's a big risk because you don't want to get dropped. I don't want to get dropped from where I am. I don't want my doctor not to like me. You don't want, what I mean? It's kind of tough, and it takes some risk and courage. It's kind of like what Tay was talking about last week, where sometimes, hey, it just came to the time where it's stressing me out so much, and now I just got to bring it up because this isn't where I'm finding peace and contentment.
Right. Yeah. But like you said, you're trying to keep your job too, so you almost have to watch,
right?
Because part of their job is to report what you say to them, to the team,
right?
When maybe what you say to them is not, like, let's say you're sore or whatever. Well, if my arm is hurting and I'm kind of on the thin ice, do I want to say my arm's hurting and now they report that to
right?
So you kind of have to play chess with it a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes we forget about what pressure that person might be under themselves, like a doctor. What kind of insurance pressures are they under? What kind of schedule they've been keeping? What's their patient demand? What that's business of saving lives, business of professional sports with millions of dollars involved. That's some serious pressure to deal with.
And as a coach, if your boss believes this but you don't believe it, unless you guys have a really good relationship, you have to say what the top of the whoever the head of whatever position you're playing, whatever his philosophy is, that's what's going to get trickled down. Ooh. So it might not be the messenger might not actually believe even what he's saying.
There you go. Yeah.
And sometimes as a player, you can sense that.
They're worried about their job too.
But if they don't tell you, they're out. So they got to feed their kids too.
Yeah.
Good word. So what's going on in China?
Oh, dude, I don't know what's going on, but like, I don't know how serious it is. Supposedly we shot down one of their things, and then I saw another thing that said we just sent $2 billion to Ukraine, but then I saw a thing that China was siding with Russia. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know any of it. All I gotta say is Ukraine's pretty small, Russia's pretty big, and Ukraine's holding their own. So I don't know how much help they really need. Honestly, I'm not educated in that area, so I don't really know much.
It fucks with the stock market, which pisses me off sometimes.
It fucks with, it seems like everyone's head in the U.S. just in general who doesn't,
I guess now we don't know what is serious and what's not because of social media.
Oh, yeah.
This is true.
Like stuff gets blown. Because I don't really watch the news, but I'll see like here and there.
What's really going on.
And then some of it's scary. Like, whoa. Like, they have nuclear stuff, and so do we. That's not good if we're not getting along.
Yeah.
But how much of it is just bullshit on the internet? I don't know.
I don't know if you guys ever seen the or heard of the Left Behind series. It was a book where it talks about kind of the end times. It came out. It's one biblical study theory where in the last days it talks about that there'll be a rapture. I don't know if you guys have heard of the rapture. Will be, you know, one is left in the field and the other's taken up. You know, when Jesus returns and pulls up, and then the Christian people who follow him, the others are left behind. Well, in that whole thing, and I'm not sure what to make of it. I don't really.
I had a coach tell me that 2 years ago.
Yeah,
like, bro, you better get ready. This shit's coming. Like COVID is a
right.
serious like sign of this.
Yeah, I don't know. For a while, I was really into that. I was really kind of falling into that whole theory. Nothing's really set completely in stone in the Bible. It's kind of a little bit tough to follow. It's not like some things in the Bible about who Jesus was, for example. It's very clear in there, but this is not completely clear. But it does say in there that Gog and Magog is the name of the territories, and some historians have kind of assessed that would be Russia and China make a pact together and then attack Israel. And that sets off the chain of the Antichrist to rise up in the end. So it's kind of interesting. Russia and China are combined. And then you got Israel, this tiny little country there surrounded by other countries, 1 billion or so people or more than that of people that want to wipe Israel off of the map. And here's this one country that's hanging out there. But I don't know. It could be, the other side is that it could be social media and the news are kind of playing into that, knowing that there's a lot of people that follow that and trying to build up the whole, it builds up news and controlling the stock market.
Right.
Who knows what's going on there? But I guess we'll just see. We could be another 2,000 years off from anything like that.
I would say it would probably have been scarier in the 40s and 50s when we're dropping nukes and testing nukes and you don't have social media and you're hearing from your friend like,
I think
oh shit,
we hear about everything now.
But yeah,
true.
so
hiding under desk and hearing the siren go off for bomb a test or whatever.
Yeah,
my parents told me about that they'd have to hide under their desk and they do bomb drills.
See, you could pay attention to all that, or you could pay attention to Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury.
Yeah. So. Hey, let's go. All right, so what's the picks on?
Did you see the second contracting they're signing about?
No, they didn't sign it. He didn't sign it.
They're going to though.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, today.
That's after the win because he was like, you didn't sign it. And then he pushes him.
Yeah, so Jake gets all the money if he wins.
Ooh.
And then if Tommy wins, he doubles Tommy's pay.
What the heck?
Yeah.
How much money we're talking? Like just
$50
million?
Oh, wow.
Tommy was
wowzers.
Jake's purse was 24 and Tommy's was 7.
Holy shit.
Is what I at least saw.
That's huge.
It's hard to tell. You can kind of, I like to try to read the weigh-ins or whatever, but it definitely seemed like Fury was not in control of his emotions as well, which usually isn't a good sign.
No, I watched the sit down thing. I don't know if you saw that. Sit down between them.
How did that go?
It was just weird. Jake gave him a gift for his daughter or something. Yeah. And it was real
Jake's
nice.
Funny.
Yeah. And then just the rest of the time Tommy was being super weird. His dad kept coming up in the middle of the interview and breaking things up. I don't know.
Dude, I feel like Jake Paul, all these people are just behind closed doors, laughing it up with Tommy Fury, and they're we got all these people. Maybe not, but
nah, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
He loses, he just fights Nate Diaz, and life is good.
You think if he loses, he'll fight Nate?
I think if he loses, he'll fight anybody.
I think if he loses, he could. I don't know if Nate will fight him then. Is he a big enough draw?
I think Nate cares about money, no?
If he wins, I think if Jake wins, then he fights Nate. But loses, I think
he fights KSI.
KSI, yeah.
I've been saying this for a minute, but I say Jake Paul does a little run, finally loses. I'm gonna say 2025 or so. We're gonna see Levi Kelly versus Jake Paul. The same good weight class and everything.
I feel like I'm a little bigger than he is.
Yeah, but you
Same-
can make
taller.
170. You can make so.
Yeah. No, we're probably the same weight, but height wise, I'm a little bigger than him. I think he's 6 foot, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what his reach is. 70
Doesn't seem
something.
that long.
Sugar Sean O'Malley. You see the latest on him that he got offered. I think it was $100,000 or something like that to make weight for as an alternative for the Sterling. What's his name fight?
Did they sign that though?
As a backup.
Is that signed though?
No, so he rejected it. He said, "Why go make the weight for?"
Yeah, but even like Henry and Aljo.
Oh.
Did Aljo sign
I think
that?
it is signed.
Yeah, I think
okay.
so. Yeah, it's signed now, but then it's still a question of, with those little bicep tears, and he's going to have to be grappling a lot to prepare for Cejudo. There's some injury risks there, I think, for sure.
I just don't like that Sean's had to. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but to
Man,
me,
it's
this is
so
like
frustrating.
his prime. I would hate to sit out during your prime.
100%. I still have a feeling something's going to happen and he's going to fight in May.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Man, that's kind of being hopeful and everything, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything changes after this fight happens, though. I think Aljo either retires or goes up to 145 because
Definitely.
Merab is coming.
I don't think he'll fight Aljo, Sean. I think that if Aljo wins, Aljo will go to 45. Sean will fight Cheeto for the interim. And then maybe Aljo will come down at that point.
Aljo would get wiped by Volkanovski. That would be not.
I could see Aljo just being done. He doesn't seem like he
I
wants
think
to
so
fight
too.
that
Yeah,
much
He's
anymore.
36.
Make some cheese and get out. Yeah.
He's
Might
like
be
doing
smart.
movies and shit now.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to have the passion. That's why I'm leaning towards him not showing up to the May fight, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of the clips of Conor for Tough?
Yeah, I like Conor.
He's funny, man.
He's so funny.
You think he's playing into the drunk scene when he was on camera? You think he's acting when he's carrying the bottle of, and he's walking? You guys see that?
No.
Oh yeah. So he was walking out of the Tough filming, and he's totally drunk, just saying crazy stuff, getting into the car. Yeah. So that's the latest that
Sounds
just
like
came
him.
out. Yeah. And then you wonder. So it makes you wonder: is this guy just not serious, and he's got a coke drinking problem, or is he just acting this role right now, and he's really dialed in?
He looks good from like the couple of videos I've seen him just kind of bouncing around. He looks healthy and looks good.
Yeah.
He's in good shape too, but
As long as he doesn't make any like drastic issues come up just from him being him, everyone's gonna just
he
let
can always
those
get
things
arrested
go
or some
away.
shit.
Right.
They're not gonna care about that.
I guess we'll find out when the filming happens. If he's really not all there, then something crazy is gonna go down.
he could put on a show for that. Yeah.
Especially with Chandler. Chandler's
If he beats Chandler, he fights for the title.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did a little update following the cancer stuff. We did a surgery Wednesday. Went way easier than planned. So thanks to everybody for the prayers, encouragement. We had to get into some lymph nodes. We got a whole cluster that popped up when one spot got up to 4 inches, was kind of pressing on a nerve. We wanted it to alleviate some of that and then pull a little biopsy to make sure that it is the same cancer still. We did a lab work and found that my T cells, T cells are the cells that fight cancer cells, and there's markers. There's CD3 and CD4 that break down inside of lymphocytes that they tested, and those are down right now, which is kind of more reason for us to come off of the trial that I'm in on, which is supposed to boost the T cells. So we're kind of leaning heavily towards now of just stopping the trial that we're on, but feeling pretty good right now, not being on chemo.
Didn't you say there was another one in?
Yes.
Where was
Yeah.
that?
In Rochester, Minnesota. That's where the Mayo headquarters, the original Mayo that's been there like a long time. But so I'm supposed to teleconference this week with my current doctor and then the doctor that's leading a new trial up there. And I haven't got any information on it, but my doctor said it'd be something like where they give me a stipend so that I would fly up every week for a couple days and then fly back down. something like that. So I'm kind of at a point where if it's, I don't know anything about what it is, but if it's a trial where there's a chance at cure and it's something brand new, kind of like this T-cell is, I'm willing to give it a try. But if not, I think I'm probably going to try to push to get onto a chemo that I've been using before, where I'm responsive to it, but I can kind of get my body to recover. I'd love to get back to being able to train a little bit more often again and let my body catch up. The last year we've been trying a lot of new things, and I feel like the body hasn't been doing as well overall. So it'd be nice to let that catch up. And then we got to get rid of that cancer too, right?
Yeah.
That too, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Like you said, though, there's always, each day that goes by, there's more and more and more research that comes out.
That echo just came up and gave me a huge encouragement. I'm stoked now. I feel that. Yeah, absolutely. Got all these genius people out there. Like, I'll have to say, I'm so stoked right now because I got my best bud in town visiting this weekend. We grew up together. I've known him like since before I can remember. So that's always a big refreshment when you get to hang out with somebody like that. But we've been visiting each other for a while, and he's come down and visited me going back to when I was in my early 20s, probably, even as living in Long Beach, and I was kind of reminiscing about that time. Like, whenever he comes down, there's always something new going on with me. As at that time I was really into the hip hop scene and stuff. I thought I was going to be like a rap star or something. He's going down and hang out, and at one point, we're riding through Compton with some friends, and smoking a little bit and things like that, and then come down again, and then I got cancer all of a sudden, and come down again. We're in hospice care, so all this crazy stuff over time. But it's really awesome to have a friend. I think it's really important to try to keep at least one or two friends that just know you. This friend is like my brother, I think. You know what I mean? And I just love that you can. I never thought this until maybe in the last few years, is you can have a blood relative, and that's awesome. Always never turn my back on any of that. But you can choose who your family is too. You can choose who your brothers are going to be, and you can build and you can commit to that and build up just a beautiful brotherhood. I think over time, I think that's so valuable. So those, sometimes it's like, I was a different person way back then, and I'm just going to move on from that friendship. I don't know. I think there's a lot of good in fostering those brotherhoods and those family relationships over time, no matter what. I've found huge value in that, I think.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have friends that you can be away from for like 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
And you can be on a totally different journey or whatever, but it's still the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can still just, it just clicks. Our buddy, I guess he's our buddy too. He's friends with Tay as well. Logan, the one that got Mills from here the other day.
Oh, yeah.
He's one where it's like, I don't see him for a year, and then he just comes in here and we talk for like 3 or 4 hours.
Nice.
It's just easy. It's nice to have friends like that where
Heck yeah.
You don't have to worry about like I'm doing this now or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Or even feel weird about what they're like. You can't trust them too much. You know them a bit. You can't really trust that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a few of those friends come to that show a month back, nice. And it was like, dude, I'm up there playing, and I see them in the crowd, and I'm like, man, I want to hang out with you guys right now. Man, it's been like literally 3 years since I've seen two of my best high school friends.
Yeah.
So
it's so like rejuvenating, and it really gets you. For me, it gets me to reflect too. You think about stuff where reflection where you were before and where you're in the future. It's just a big encouragement, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah. One of my buddies from West Virginia called me the other day, and she was in the car, and she was like, "You guys are freaking nasty." I'm like, "That's how it is. That's West Virginia talk. I got to turn that switch quickly."
Yeah.
Man, so I didn't even know about this in baseball, but I don't think we talked about this yet, but there's a pitch clock in baseball. I don't know why I didn't even.
What's new?
Yeah, okay. That's brand new. And how long is it? So that maybe you can talk about what that is exactly.
It's 18 seconds, I think. I don't pay too much attention to it because it's never really a problem for me.
Yeah.
I normally need to like slow down Like I work so quick that I need to like, hey, easy. Where some guys work super slow and they kind of, it's like, okay, let's get it going here. Those guys, it'll affect more. But for me, I see it back there. But once like I throw the first pitch, I don't even pay attention to it.
If you violate the clock, then you get a base automatically?
So I think it's a ball.
Oh, just a ball. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then I'm not exactly sure. If there's a guy on base, it could be a base. But I think it's a ball. And then if the hitter violates, he's not in the box or whatever, I would imagine it's a strike. That
seems pretty a cool thing to kind of boost the game, because I go watch baseball games and man, it kind of drags, you know what I mean? And you know, that's pretty cool that they're trying to do things that's going to make the sport a little more catch on. And what other things you think they need to do or they could do in the sport to make it a little more?
They've done a lot of things in like the last 2 or 3 years. The bases are bigger now.
The actual bases themselves?
Yeah.
Shoot,
they're physically bigger. AAA has TrackMan as the strike zone this year, which is like robot umps essentially. What else have they done? I think the ball is always changing.
Yeah, they lowered the
The ball is just tighter now. Like even from the minor league ball. The other day when I threw, the first guy I faced, I had a big league ball. The next guys I faced had a minor league ball, and it was like my pitches are different.
Yeah,
you know. So I don't think like it wasn't great that it switched mid outing. Like I've been playing catch with the big league ball. I've been throwing with the big league ball. Done everything with the big league ball, and then I get a minor league ball, and I'm like, yo, this is different. It's not that big a difference, but I don't know. When you're used to, it's like, okay, you're going to fight. You've always fought with 4-ounce gloves, and now you're going to fight with 8-ounce gloves. Yeah. It's just going to be a little bit different.
You showed me the other day you had blisters on your fingers.
Or like calluses.
Yeah, little calluses. I didn't realize that would happen with the ball, and that's just because you got to grip it and you're sliding your fingers when you want to throw different pitches.
Yeah, it's just from the constant, like, shit, we probably make 120 throws a day.
Wow.
I'll get calluses on the tips, and then I hold my slider like down like that, almost like I'm flipping somebody off, and I'll get cuts like on the top of my finger.
Crazy.
But
your fastball is your best pitch, right?
Probably slider.
Slider?
Yeah.
How fast is your slider?
Like mid 80s.
And that a slider is where it's coming back into the batter, right? Kinda?
Well, from a right-handed hitter, it would go away from a righty into a lefty.
Way from right or into a lefty. Okay, I got you. And a curve.
Curve is going to go straight down a little bit to, depends on like your pitch profile, but mostly a curveball is going to go straight down, like the good ones.
Gotcha. I remember now. Like I for some reason I attach my knowledge of pitches to wiffle ball. Mm-hmm. Either goes in, out, or it drops.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So I was thinking about speeding up the game. The NBA like 4 years ago changed the shot clock. If you get the rebound and you're already on offense, you get the offensive rebound. It's only 14 seconds now. It used to. Used to completely restart.
That's a good idea.
Reset. Yeah.
Speeding up the game. Finding ways to speed the game up.
That's more for the viewer.
Sports is going to be the sports revenue is going to be like completely fine regardless of if fans come or not. Like obviously you want fans there, but because now gambling's legal and sports betting, that's a massive. Now the baseball field is going to turn into the old dog track or horse track. Yeah. Because you can sit there and bet pitch to pitch. And there's always going to be people that are addicted to gambling.
Yeah.
And so they're making a fuck ton of money on that rather than they're still making money obviously on ticket sales and stuff like that. And you want to make as much as you can, but the gambling is going to, sports are going to be fine just based off of gambling.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm trying to keep up little tips and kind of pay attention to the things that I've sort of learned over time. So this thing I've been thinking a lot about this week is when your immune system goes down. I've been able to, we hear a lot about immune system, how to boost the immune system. I think in recovery and training, it's such a big thing. How do we get our immune system strong? And in going through bone marrow transplants, a lot about the immune system, they've studied it pretty deeply. I think that's maybe probably the biggest area where they've learned the most about the immune system. But even then, they don't understand it because there's just so many thousands of variables that go along with it. But being in a situation where my immune system is dropped from chemo, if you do a really strong chemo, it's going to drop your white blood cell count down. So the lower that goes, your immune system is down, and the more at risk you are at catching whatever virus might be out there. I'd be in the hospital and even masked up in this isolated bubble vacuum room. I think one time they had found that I had caught a form of pneumonia and 4 other patients on the same side of where I was staying caught the same thing. And they found out there was like a little leak going on in the vents or something. So just that little tiny thing. So I'm saying this because over time I kind of pay attention and I track my immune system's down. I have tells in my body when I know it's down. I can kind of get a feeling in my body. Stuff happens on my tongue where it gets a little bit whiter. I get little sores easier in my mouth. So I start studying like, okay, well, what is it? How do I get this back up again? What are things in my body that I can do to prevent issues going on? And the first thing that happened is I was getting a lot of problems with my teeth when my immune system was down. And I was following the dentist principles. I was flossing, once or twice a day. I would use regular, not picking on any brand, but like a Colgate toothpaste, and maybe using a little Listerine mouthwash to keep my breath fresh or whatever, and that kind of stuff, doing my checkups. But and when my immune system was down, I just kept getting issues with my teeth, just cavities and just in general in my body. And so I started studying that and experimenting more when the immune system is down. And there's three tips that I have that seem to be real strong for tooth health. And the first one is using a toothpaste that has baking soda and peroxide in it. And so much of this toothpaste out there even some of it has a little sugar in there, or you got these preservatives and things like that. And I noticed a huge difference in health when you're using the baking soda peroxide sort of based toothpaste. So that's one thing I got. The second thing is, if you're having teeth issues or whatever, rinsing with a little bit of baking soda and salt has been huge. Even getting mouth sores from a declined immune system, that's been a big one. And I think I've even reversed, I don't know if this is true, I'm not saying that this is going to work for you, but I believe that I've reversed cavities and, very serious infections in my mouth from following these principles. The third one is I use a tongue scraper. It's a copper tongue scraper. Excuse me. And I just scrape it off, and it's if you ever used one of those, it's amazing what comes off of your tongue, like what's sitting on your tongue, how much crud gets on there and different things. So I do that. I do that every morning. I just go, I scrape, and I got to be careful. Immune system is down. It gets, messes with the tongue a little bit, but that, and then I'll use, I think that if you haven't used fluoride before, then there's a lot of studies out there that say you don't need to start rinsing with it, but I try to use a mouthwash twice a day that is just fluoride based with no alcohol in it. So I guess I gave 4 principles, but sticking on that mouth scraper, there's something really big to that one, I think, to overall health. And I noticed that I seem to fight off viruses better because I think a lot of bacteria and all sorts of crud hangs out on our tongues. Mm-hmm. So those are my tips for.
I totally feel that. Yeah, I totally feel that for sure.
Yep.
There's been times I feel like too when my wisdom teeth were coming in. It's like how quick if you left a little bit of food back there somehow, it would get infected and then get infected bad to the point where I'm at the doctor and they're telling me, oh, here's some pain medication and so on, so antibiotics and all that. So.
Definitely. And I really like the toothbrush that are there. I really find those do a much better job for oral health than anything.
Yeah, I pay for the Quip. Have you seen Quip?
Yeah.
They do the reusable, well, not reusable. They send you a new head every 3 months.
Oh, that's
and then
awesome.
A tube of toothpaste and
Quip,
stuff like that.
I'll have to check that out.
Great.
I've never had a cavity.
Neither have I.
Dude, I'm proud of that.
Yeah, same. Me and my dad used to dap each other up every time.
My brother never had one, or my dad either.
Yeah.
I don't know if my mom has or not.
Yeah, my mom and my sister would get them, and my dad and I would just be laughing.
Dude, I still have a baby tooth too.
How is that possible?
You see it?
All the way in the back?
Right here.
Damn.
Still, because there's no adult tooth coming underneath it. It was just, I didn't have an adult tooth, so there's nothing pushing it out.
I think, I'll just say it, I think so much of the dentist chains, and there's a lot of good guys. I'm just saying there's more than there should be dentists that are scamming people.
Oh, for sure.
Man, it's frustrating. My took my boys to a chain a couple of years back, and man, they wanted to do all this stuff to their teeth and this and that, and then I took him to a private dentist that I really trust, and he was like, that's all crap. They're just
one time I was like on this whatever healthy toothpaste thing, and from like Whole Foods or Sprouts or whatever, and my dentist was like, you maybe use that like once a day, and you use your other one once a day, but don't just only use that, because that's just like brushing your teeth with water. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I had an underbite when I was younger. It wasn't like terribly bad, but the original dentist I went to, maybe it was a orthodontist, told me I was gonna have to have jaw surgery. They do a little cut and push my jaw back on and stuff. And then eventually I went into another orthodontist, and they were like, no,
there's so many scams.
Slap braces on you, you're good. Glasses
too, they'll scam you on that shit.
Yeah. Absolutely. That the whole orthodont, I think some people I've seen, they've really changed their stuff, but usually I think that I've seen that happen more so when you're already an adult, and nobody wants to wear braces. But now they have Invisalign and stuff, but they wanted to do that with my middle guy, and his teeth are but his teeth are just growing in and stuff. You're still growing and things like that. So that whole thing of putting on braces, I wonder, there's got to be a percentage of kids that wear braces when they're like 12 having to wear them again when they're like 19 or as an adult, because you're messing with the whole shape of when you're growing still, kind of like what you're saying.
Yeah, your wisdom teeth still haven't come in.
Yeah,
and that's
going
to totally affect how you might not even need them out.
Right, and if you don't wear supposedly if you don't wear the retainers and shit after, your teeth are just going to go back to how they were.
Yeah, positively.
Are you using mouth tape? No, you use that mouth tape?
No.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that do. There was one kid on our team though. He put, I don't know, but he put it on there and he got sick as a dog the next couple of days, and he's like, only thing I changed is I started using mouth tape. But I thought maybe it was bringing something out of him that was already in there.
That could be.
That it just sped up the process to try to get it out.
No, I'm a good nasal breather.
Yeah,
I can nasal breathe anything.
Yeah, it's helped me a lot. And I know it seems like some people it does and some people it doesn't, but my sleep score is definitely improved when I use that. I just had problem finding mouth tape that, especially if I get a little beer going or something, then it wants to fall off when you're wearing it. But there's a product I came across on the Mark Bell Powercast, and it's called hostage tape. It's like the stuff that goes over your mouth. So Ara and I was using that the other night. We were just busting up because, you're trying to make the other person laugh and you're covered with this tape or whatever. But that's been good stuff if you're trying to find some good mouth tape that doesn't come off in the middle of the night.
I saw him wearing it when he was marathon training, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. He's funny.
That's good stuff.
I feel like I do a pretty good job because if I have my mouth open, then I wake up and I can tell because I'm like, I'm just like all dried out in my mouth.
Yeah.
But
my sleep is shit I'm good. It's usually only if I'm sick, maybe I'll breathe through my mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
Damn it, you young, healthy bastards.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. What else we got? Anything else?
Let's see. What else can we find to meander on right now? I'm just kidding.
There's fights today.
How long we been going?
Almost an hour.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah.
What about John Jones? Did we talk about him at all yet?
I think John Jones is going to take him down.
Yeah?
Yeah. Take him down and sub him.
That'll be an easy fight.
I think it will.
When is that?
Next week.
Next week already?
Next Saturday.
Whoa. Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to see him fight Stipe. I want to see Jones Stipe.
Yeah. When's Kyler going to fight?
He had a fight and then it got canceled, right?
That's right.
He hasn't fought in forever.
Rafael Assunção he was supposed to fight, I think, right?
What about Casey Kenny?
Yeah, I know, right?
I haven't even heard anything of him.
No.
Yeah.
I know Kyler's looking real good in the gym. He was.
Yeah.
I saw him the other day training.
Casey Kinney, where has he been?
I don't know. Yeah, he just fought Dominic Cruz.
Right.
Like, you'd
And
think he
then-
would have been.
Who knows?
Was it
Yep,
Dom?
yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, right on. I think that's a
all good.
wrap
Good to go.
today. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching episode 16 of Untap. We look forward to what's next. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Have a best week ever.
Peace.